How's everyone doing today? So she mentioned I had a concussion. It's actually been, we'll go through the story, but it's been a lot more than just one. So I'm going to try and use this microphone. I don't like using it very often. So I just want to thank Mrs. Seau for inviting me today. A little bit about myself. I'm from rural Pennsylvania. My town was 1,000 people, so I knew everybody and everything about them. So San Diego was a little bit of a culture change for me. I'm a chiropractor in La Jolla. I've been practicing now officially a couple months. So I played sports all throughout my life, and then I'll go through that as well here in a few minutes, okay? Alright, so concussions. Everyone's heard the word, knows what it is. So I started getting those. Sophomore year I was playing football. I made a tackle, felt my head get hurt, get a headache, don't think much of it. We played football for that many years. So I just continued playing. Thankfully some parents and other people realized what was going on, so they took me out of the game. And they checked me over, and needless to say I had a concussion. So I didn't get to play the rest of the season. From there, I got cleared, played the rest of my basketball season. Everything was good. One concussion, no big deal. Junior year came around, the last game of the season, made a tackle, also had a headache. Again, it happened before, no big deal. Continued playing. That weekend, so Saturday, that happened on a Friday night. Saturday and Sunday, I played in a basketball tournament. Kids from all around the country came to play. On Sunday, I made a break for the ball, collided with a kid who broke his nose off the side of my head, had to get carried out on a stretcher. Again, a headache. It's alright. I just got my headache. So I continued playing. Later on that day, we went out to eat to my favorite restaurant. I wasn't hungry. Didn't think anything of it. I just got done playing. I'm probably just not hungry right now. Went home, walked in the house, stumbled, almost fell over. I started getting a little bit of concern in me. Again, still didn't say anything. Luckily, my parents had noticed some of the warning signs, the agitation, the lack of focus, basically just kind of being zoned out when people were talking to me. From there, Monday morning, I got called in the office at school, which is really unlike me, so I was really concerned about what was going on, so I don't remember doing anything to get called down. So I got called down. There was the sports medicine trainer. She took me into the room. I had to do an impact test. Is everyone familiar with the impact test? What it is a concussion-based test you take as a pre-sports, so it gives you a baseline. From there, you'll take it if you get any symptoms, and they let you know where you're at, what your baseline was, and kind of helps deem a concussion. So I failed that one, miserably. They were really concerned because I failed. I was in the less than 1 percentile in all but a couple categories, and those were only maybe 5%. My baseline was in the 90s, so you can tell there's a big drop in knowledge. So from there, I got cleared to play after about a month. So I started playing basketball, played the rest of the season, and then it was time to play baseball. So we did another baseline impact test. Again, I failed. I had no idea why, but they were really concerned at this point, especially after I just got done playing months of basketball. So I went to see a specialist, a neurologist. He's wrote many books, so his information to me was, you're done playing sports, all of them. So being the young athlete that I was defiant. I said, there's no way. I'm not done playing sports, it's just a concussion. At that point, I've never heard of anybody stopping their career because of concussions or any head injuries. So my parents were like, well, the doctor said this, he knows what he's talking about. I suggested we get a second opinion. So there I went down to Pittsburgh to a world-famous specialist in sports injuries, sports concussions. He's the same one who flew down Tim Tebow when he had his concussion before the LSU game. It's the same specialist. So I got down there, took another test for him, failed it, and he said, if you can get back to shape, we can get you going in 3 weeks here, you'll be able to play sports again. I liked his options a lot better. Eventually I got cleared to play, continued throughout my high school career, and then I went to play on to college. I played football and volleyball in college, and about the fall, or the spring of my freshman year, I decided it was time to quit football. I didn't want to, but it was for my best interest because I knew I'd be entering chiropractic school here in a few years, and head injuries were down a dozen at that point. I kept seeing all my friends getting concussions, and I said, my next one could be around the corner. So I quit playing, continued to play volleyball, thankfully. So from there, I quit, and there's a lot of unknowns. There still is. So that's why we did the research with the CTE Foundation. Am I concerned about it? Yeah, definitely. I've had too many concussions. I guess I left out a couple things. When I was younger, I ran into a corner of a wall and split my head open. I got swung around by a sibling and hit my head off the couch. And I was also involved in a pretty severe car injury. So those were all undocumented concussions, so I'm not sure how many I actually have. But I'm going to guess around 5.
Wow.
So I've been very fortunate throughout my life to play sports, travel, be healthy, survive concussions, because you just never know what can happen with those. So as far as my family being affected, to be honest, I don't really talk about it much. I'd rather just live my life not thinking about it and let it kind of come and handle it when it does. But as the research is coming out, I think about it a little bit more and more. I know that they do sometimes question themselves whether or not they made the right choice by letting me play again. But I wouldn't have it any other way for me as an athlete. But as a physician now, will I let my kids play? We'll determine that down the road. So what I'm trying to do is just kind of get the word out on concussions with Mary Seau, mainly CTE, because that's really what it comes from, is any type of chronic traumatic head injuries over time, repetition. It doesn't have to be one impact that does it all. It can be multiple over time that you don't even notice. So what I always tell my patients is knowledge is power. So by knowing as much as you can, you have a lot more power. When I was growing up with concussions, there wasn't as much knowledge as there is now. So my job is to serve the community, let them know as much as I can, whether it's about what I do, or about something that's going on in my life, or something that's going on in their life. Always be well informed, and that's kind of what we're trying to do here today, is get the research going so people can be informed and know how to handle these situations. So if anyone has any questions, let me know. I'll leave my contact information also with some people, and I'm happy to field any questions. So. That's kind of a tricky answer. Because you don't want to, even with simple adjustments, you don't want to jar the brain any further than it's been jarred. So there is a waiting period between them. When I was growing up, they told me to strengthen my neck, because it's all about whiplash, bouncing back. So more than I worked out on my neck strength. Anything up in my upper body, I worked on that. As a chiropractor, we can't really help those kind of symptoms because it's a brain injury. But what we can do is just maintain the nervous system as a whole. Because the only way that we can affect the nervous system as a human being is through the spinal cord. Because we can't get to the brain. So that's the closest avenue we have to working with the nervous system. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? No? All right. Well, I just want to say thanks again for inviting me, and hope that was a little informative for you. And, just let me know if you have any more questions. I'll leave my contact information. Thank you.
That was wonderful. Give him another round of applause. Thank you very much for your time.